Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sorry that we start a little bit late because some people are still trying to get on the way. Yeah. Okay, but never mind. Just to welcome all of you. Actually, today's session it will be recorded, inshallah, and Umran TV people are here. They will record it so that they will put it on YouTube. So for those people who missed it, they can't make it, they can still watch it on YouTube. Actually, I had the program once also recorded, but when I was with RICOI, which is Research and Islamic Center in Taman, but unfortunately the sound system was not so good, so we had to do the retaping again. Yeah, inshallah. Okay, let me introduce the subject that we're going to do today. This program was actually designed in Singapore by the Muslim Converts Association. That's where I was from. For 20 years, I was a volunteer there, and I was teaching there. And Alhamdulillah, this set of notes that were from my arwah, my teacher, Haji Zulkifli Ismail, and he did a fantastic job, I thought, to introduce Islam to people who are not familiar with Islam. The reason he does, I think, a fantastic job is because his wife is also a convert. So when he did the presentation, it was very appealing for a person who has no idea of Islam, and it's so simple that any range from from a young age, school children, right up to adults. I have done this presentation in international schools in Singapore, and the children loved it. Even the Muslim children said that, wow, we didn't know this, So it was kind of very interesting. And originally, this program was for people who wanted to know about Islam, or they wanted to convert. So they came to the association because like in Malaysia, you want to get married, you have to know about Islam, you have to accept Islam, and so on. So usually, sometimes the people who attend the first class are those you can see in their face as there's a gun being pointed on their head to attend this class, It's called orientation program, to orientate you with what Islam is about. But Alhamdulillah, after the end of the session, which is about 1.5 hours, some of them don't even want to get up. And don't want to get out of the class until you get chased out of the class because there's another class coming in. Okay, because they are so shocked and they just got so many questions to ask. All right, so I thought I would like to share this session with all of you. I know some of you are so well versed already in Islam, far much better than this, but I feel that it's a very simple way how you can present Islam to other people. Okay, a lot of us sometimes we have anak mentua, who's a convert, right, who's coming into Islam. They will call me and says, oh, can you do something, can you tell about Islam, because I don't know how to explain, and they are teachers and all that, but still it needs certain mentality. Please join us. Yes, please join us. Yeah. So the talk is divided into 3 sections. The first section, we are going to talk about misconception, because Islam is one of the most misunderstood religion today. Right? So we feel that if you want to put anything that's right to start off, you have to take out all the wrong misconceptions that people have. Right? You have to empty the glass of dirty water before you can fill it with clean water. So in order for us to put in the but the true knowledge, we have to take out all the misconceptions that people may have on Islam. Right? So we will cover a little bit about misconception. After the misconception, we will tell you about the origin of Islam and how is it related to the other religions. Because most people who enter Islam, they had their own religion. They were Christians before, they were Buddhists before. Okay, so they want to know how is it, why do we need religion in the first place? Can man live without religion and lead a life? So we will answer to that. Then the third part is on the beauty of the practices of Islam. Now this is good for those young people who sometimes say, why must I pray 5 times a day? I used to say that, right? Why can't I just pray 2 times a day? Because that's all that I have the time. We have to rush for work and so on. So when they know about Islam and when they know why is it important, that prayers is not for Allah, prayers is for ourselves, then, and when they love Islam, they see the beauty of Islam, then you don't have to wake them up in the morning, they will wake it. And they will want to do the 5 times prayers. And they will, find ways and means to get it done. Okay? So that's what we want to do also. Okay? So without much ado, let me introduce to you the first part, which is the misconception. True or false? Now, usually we ask questions. Why? Because with questions, that will wake the audience, right, to think. Otherwise, some may be sleepy at this hour after a heavy meal and in the afternoon. So, is Islam a religion? Well, basically, it depends on what you mean by the word religion. Now, if you look in the dictionary, or what most people think what religion is something like how you relate yourself to the Creator, right? Right. So if that's the case, if that is the definition of religion, then Islam is not a religion. In fact, Islam is bigger than a religion. It's more than that. So what is it actually? We introduce that this is one of them, that Islam is actually a deen, which usually is translated, the nearest is religion, right? But more accurately, it is actually a total way of life. That's why, when you see the Muslims, why must they dress in a certain way? Why must they eat this and not eat that? Why must they do this and not do that? Right? So it is actually a total way of life. It's a system of living. Not just a religion where you have to just relate between you and the Creator. Okay? Because if you say, I'm a religious person, oh, that means every day I'll be sitting down in a mosque praying and praying and praying. That's not true. In fact, in Islam, it is a deen, it is a way of life. It teaches you not only how to relate vertically towards your Creator, but also horizontally with other human beings, with other creations of Allah, even the animals and even the non-living things. So we have a system that teaches us how to be in in a society, in an environment where you are good not only towards Allah, but even to fellow human beings. Okay? So this sometimes we lack in a lot of our Muslims today, unfortunately. Okay? And Muslims do not view our religion as part of his or her life, but the entire life experience is regarded as a religious experience. So what do you mean by this? Because for Christians, sometimes they say, oh, on Sundays we go to church, so we shall be a good person on Sunday. But the day we step out of the church, we can do anything that we like. But similarly, the Muslims also are today like that. Friday, we go to the mosque. We are good. In fact, before even we come out of the mosque, we block people's car. We do all sorts of things that irritate people, right? We park all over the place. And without realizing that we are not relating to our fellow human beings. Okay? So we haven't even ended the day. We've already made all the mistakes. Right? So in Islam, you have to be a Muslim every minute of the time. Then somebody say, oh my God, how am I going to become religious every minute of the time? That must be real tough. But not. Actually, in Islam, whatever you do in life that is good is considered a religious experience. So much so, even if you pick up a banana skin on the street so that somebody will not slip and fall, that is also being religious. You get rewarded for it. You get barakah for it. You get, So it's so easy to become a good Muslim. Even by coming to the talk today, you're already getting rewards because you're making an effort to know more about Islam so that you can share with others. All right? So everything that is not, where Allah does not say that this is wrong, everything that's, even those that are not being mentioned, unless it's being said, this is wrong, then only we cannot do. So there are many, many things that's good, then lesser things that are bad. Okay, so life should be a full, a religious experience every minute of your time. Okay, right. So how do we do that? Later on, we will show you. In fact, in Islam, it's so comprehensive. Not only we study about theology, which is about your relationship with God, But also we have very comprehensive law to guide us in every sectors of our life. Whether it be devotion, whether it be social transaction, which means that, can you be a good Muslim but you cheat people? And you borrow money and don't want to pay back? Unfortunately, a lot, they don't understand that. In marriage and family law, in criminal law, even distribution of wealth. Now, I'd like to mention a little bit here about distribution of wealth. When I was doing my talks in the universities, and somebody came out and says, oh, you know, Latifah, I'm a Muslim, but I think Islam is so unfair to women. You know, because when my father dies, I get only half a share, and my brother gets double the share, and my brother is irresponsible. You know, this is totally outright unfair. You know, so I cannot accept this. You see, so a lot of our Muslim sisters and young ones don't understand the whole concept. Why Allah? Actually, Allah is more than fair. I said, when I explained to you, after this, you want to become a woman more than a man. I said, why did Allah do this? Allah does this because you have to look at the whole of Islam holistically. You cannot just see one regulation and then you make a judgment. It's not right. Okay? In Islam, yes, your brother gets 2 shares. You get 1 share. But your brother is a male. And when he gets his 2 share, he has the responsibility of every women folk in the family. Which means that if the father has passed away, he has to take care of the mother. He has to feed her, clothe her, make sure that she has a roof over her head and everything. And if you are the sister, although you get 1 share, and you're not married, he is also responsible for you. He has to make sure that he takes care of you too. All right? And if he's married, he's got his own wife to take care, his own children, the whole range. From mother, the top generation, to the next generation, and the siblings. So you can imagine with 2 shares, he has to share with everybody. But for you, when you get 1 share, it's all for yourself. Even when you get married, your husband can't touch it. Yeah, so that's what men say is not fair. Right? You rather be a woman, right? You get protected. Yeah, that's right. You see? That share is all yours. Your husband can't touch it. And if you buy something for your husband, it's considered sedekah. You get reward for it. Right? Because everything he has to pay for you. So, isn't it great being a woman? And one more thing now that women are working, better still. All my money is my money. Your money is also my money. Yeah. Right? So, why are we complaining? That's because we don't understand the law in totality. So, in Islam, don't complain. Check. Allah is more than fair. All the time. Okay. And of course, that's just one part about women, men and women. I would love to go on and on. Because I meet a lot in my work when I used to do traveling. I used to travel and meet a lot of Westerners, especially Americans. And then when they see me in Tudong, I've been on a cruise, right? And they see me in Tudong, they're so like, shocked, that kind of thing. He says, you're such a dynamic woman, why do you cover yourself? This is a subjugation from men. I'm sure it must be your husband or your mother or father, who insisted that you wear it. I said, no, actually it was my wish. I'm not married yet. And, I wish to put on the tudung. And in fact, I lost my job because of the tudung in Singapore, okay? So, that's another story. So you say, oh, they said, really? And then they start asking, why is it that women must wear tudung? So actually, by wearing the tudung also, when you travel in foreign places, it is also a form of da'wah. Right? I remember when I once landed in Guam, in the middle of the night at 3 in the morning, and it was the immigration was chopping the passport. I said, are you a Muslim? I said, yes. Why do you wear the scarf? He asked me, no, why do you wear the scarf? So I said, what do you know about it? I was told that you're bald, that's why you wear the scarf. I was like shocked, but 3 in the morning and I don't want to hold back. So lucky, when I travel, I always carry a small booklet. What is Islam? Or, before we have, not Zakir Naik. Zakir Naik now has got the 10 questions it will ask. I will take out the book and give a copy. So everywhere when I travel, always in my luggage, I have a side copy. I have a side portion to carry all my books. especially simple handy books. This is an opportunity for you to do dawah, Sometimes Allah makes it, people say, oh, why do I need to know a lot about dawah? I will never have to, I'm not an ustad, I'm not a teacher. There's no opportunity for me to do dawah. I said, you can do dawah anywhere, everywhere. Even on the MRT also you can do dawah. I said, you go on the MRT, you don't just sit down. I always take my Islamic book and pretend to read. So your neighbor will always try and look. Hey, what's this person reading? It's human nature, curiosity, right? So I said, would you like to read? I give him. So, that is a way of doing dawah also. You do it very subtly. Right? They say name Latifah means subtle. So I do a lot of things very subtle to make sure that the message gets across. So there are many, many opportunities. Okay? And again, like for example, when I'm traveling again, when at dinner tables, they always say, at dinner tables, you must not discuss, especially with your clients, they are paying you to be on the trip. You cannot discuss about religion, cannot discuss about politics. But actually, it's at dinner tables that I always discuss about religion, not politics, because I don't know nothing much about politics. But they was ask me, Latifah, why you cannot take pork lah? Never mind lah, this one you're not in, nobody see you, you can take, never mind. My client, I said, cannot, sir. You know why? I don't take pork, not because of anything. Then I explain to them. Then after that, they say, like this, we better don't take pork. So they become, even, we don't expect them to become Islam, but at least they know and they appreciate. They see the beauty of Islam, So that is also a form of da'wah. It doesn't mean that, the first person that you speak, they must take the shahada. Not really. But by little steps, by telling the little things, they say, oh, is that so? That's the way we open up their hearts and their minds, So anyway, so those are some of the things. Striving in war, leadership, government. So it covers. And then we also have the signs of disposition. What is the signs of disposition? It's how to be a good person. Actually, in Buddhism, they have a lot about this. How to be a good person and so on and so forth. So I will show you actually later on that actually religion develops. Okay, Islam is not the first religion. It was actually the last. But anyway, we'll come to that, right? So signs of disposition is to become, how to be the good person, your character, which is, again, very, very much lacking in our Islamic society today. Okay, so we shall go through that. Okay, Prophet Muhammad. Muhammad is not the founder. A lot of people think that, because in school we're taught, Jesus Christ brought Christianity, Moses brought Judaism, Buddha brought Buddhism. Okay, so Islam was brought by Prophet Muhammad SAW. But actually we know, right? It is on the contrary, it's not true. But why is it important for us to tell people that it's not true? Okay, I relate to you my own experience. When I was in school, because in Singapore, at that time, there's a lot of missionary teachers. Because there's a lot of missionary schools in Singapore, Malaysia also, right? So the teachers are very, very great missionaries. And when I was young, because I'm adopted into a Muslim family, but my parents were not very strict either. So they allow me to go for Sunday schools. They call it Sunday schools, but actually Sunday school, you go to church, You join the girls' brigade. It's also in the church, Everything is actually church related, okay? And I love to listen about stories and, what the Christians do and so on. But I have this question in mind that bothers me. And because of that, the teachers got angry with me. And I said okay, they said, believe in Christ and you'll be safe. So I said, oh wow, I'm so lucky, I'm born after Christ. What if I was born before Christ? Does it mean that I will go straight to hell and burn, for no rhyme or reason? That's not very fair, isn't it? How can you believe in somebody if that person haven't existed? Right? So there's a flaw there. So when I ask my teacher, I say, oh, shut up. You cannot ask such questions. Faith is something that's in the heart. You cannot question it. Right? But this was bothering me, and I'm sure it bothers her too, but obviously. And nobody actually could answer until when many years later, when I wanted to get married and I had to go to Muslim Converts Association to learn about, actually to get my spouse to learn about Islam, but instead I got to know more about Islam. Okay? And then I realized that actually Islam is the most logical religion that says that the first person that brought Islam was actually the first prophet, Adam alayhi salam. And actually all our prophets of God, even Jesus Christ was a prophet of God who were assigned by Allah to teach mankind of the real. So nobody is born before Adam. So anybody who comes after Adam, alayhi salam, is safe as long as they get the message. You see? So that is the most likely, because most religion will always say believe in their leader or believe in their founder. If you don't believe, that's it, you're gonna. But they never thought, what about those people before that? It's very unfair. People have no guidance at all. Allah cannot be so unfair. So here, I will show you a better this thing that you see. We tell people about the prophetic tree. This again, a lot of even Muslims don't realize that actually all the great religions of the world, especially the three great religions, which is Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, are all interrelated. From Adam, you can see the next prophet is Noah, right? From Noah came down Abraham. From Abraham, we have the two firstborn Ishmael and the secondborn is Isaac. And you see from Isaac, I'll give you. But before I move on to the page, in the Quran it says in Surah An-Nahl, chapter 16, verse 36, for we assuredly send amongst every nation a messenger. Which means that Allah guarantee, not only He sends us this book to guide us, but He also sent teachers to teach us. What more do we want? Okay? So isn't that, at least we know this. Let me show you the second tip about second slide. Yeah. You see, through Abraham, that's why they say that Abraham was the father of the religion, the two great religion, because through Ishmael, as you know, we have Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being the last prophet. But through Abraham, through Isaac, we have all the Jews prophets. I asked my teacher, I said, how come at the time of through Ishmael, we only have one prophet. But on the side of the Isaac, they've got so many prophets. So my teacher said, because these people are very degil. They need more guidance. Every time guidance comes to them, they kill their prophets, they don't follow. And then another teacher got it. Because this is one of the function of the prophets, to guide mankind when they are lost, to guide them back to the right path. Okay? Whereas, for the Arabs, on this side, actually they never question, they believe in God. Alright? Until at the time, just before time of Prophet Muhammad, they started idol worshipping. Okay? Where shaitan actually diverted them. Yeah? But before than that, they didn't have that problem. Okay? So, there was that. And also we know, through the dua of Nabi Ibrahim, that he wanted all his ascendants, he asked for all his ascendants to be prophets. That's why he got most of the prophets were his descendants. Okay? Right. So actually, you see that Judaism, Islam, Christianity, John the Baptist and Jesus Christ, they are actually cousins, to Islam, to the Muslims. Right? So, and all came from one source. Yeah, the Creator. Right? So, it's so simple. And yet, people say, oh, it's so difficult to understand religion. Actually, it's not. And it's very interesting to hear the stories of this, the related stories of each of the prophets of God. To prove that this is not what I'm saying, but we quoted a verse from the Quran to say, which is Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 135, say that we believe in Allah and that which has been sent down on Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the tribe, and that which was given to Moses, Jesus, and all the prophets of their Lord. We made no divisions with them. You see, a lot of people think that the Quran is a book talking only about Prophet Muhammad SAW, but it's not true. Actually, the Quran has got more stories of other prophets than even Prophet Muhammad SAW. Right? So this is again an amazing thing which a lot of people were surprised to hear that, hey, actually in Islam it tells you about the Jews, it tells you about the Christians and so on and so forth. Right? Okay, I always ask also, why is it do men need religion? Because we have some people who are atheists, right? Okay, we will come to that question. I think we'll come to the part on tapes instead of me elaborating here. Okay, let me go through the prophets of Islam first. Why are they here? Who are they? Okay. Who were the prophets that were sent down? They were human messengers. So somebody asked me, why did Allah send human messengers? Why didn't they send angels? It's a usual question. Even Muslims would ask this, right? Why don't they send angels to teach us? So I says, well, they send human messengers so that people have no excuse. For example, it says, an angel comes down and says, Latifah, you got to pray 5 times a day. I'll say, oh, angel, so difficult to pray 5 times a day. You know, I've got so much responsibility. I've got a hectic job. I have a mother to take care. I have this, I have that. Where do I have the time in the world to pray 5 times a day? But you're an angel. You fly. You travel at the speed of light. You don't have to eat. You don't have to sleep. You can pray more than 5 times or 100 times a day, but not me. You know, so I think if angels were asked to teach us, we have a lot of excuses because we can't do it. You know, but if Prophet Muhammad says, Latifah, you got to pray 5 times a day, if I don't do that, I'll be very, very embarrassed because he has a much greater job to do, more responsibility, and he can do 5 times and even more. Why can't I do? Right? So that we can relate easily. So that's why prophets, the messengers we sent were all human, like us. So no excuse. How many? More than mentioned in the Quran. In fact, in the Quran, there are the major 25 prophets with all their stories. But there are some records that says that more than 125,000 prophets have been sent. Each to every nation. Remember just now I mentioned to you? So that nobody can say at the end of the day, oh, sorry God, I didn't know about religion or guidance. Nobody came to me to teach me. You know, at every stage in time, to every nation, a messenger was sent. Right? So we have no excuse. One for every nation, from the time of Adam to the time of Prophet Muhammad. Again, some wise guys will ask me, why did Allah stop sending? Right? Why did Allah stop sending at Prophet Muhammad? Why didn't continue on? Well, actually, Allah knows best. But we do know now that at the time of Prophet Muhammad, the words, the guidance has been preserved in the Quran. Whereas the earlier religions, they were not being preserved. And because they were not being preserved, people have changed and modified to make it palatable to them, you know. Like today's Bible. It's not the Bible that Jesus Christ taught, right? It was a Bible that was written by Paul, not Paul the disciple, not even his time, 200 years, the Paul who lived 200 years after Jesus Christ. So how can that writing be correct or accurate? That's why there's so many controversial things, so many contradicting things in the Bible, right? Whereas in the Quran, you see, that's the reason why also, okay, this is another story I like to read. When I was young, of course it's usual in every Muslim society, parents would think, if I send my daughter or son to the Tafiz, I've done my job of teaching religion. You know? So I wasn't sent to the Tafiz, but I had a mengaji teacher lah. So I went to mengaji every day, got to memorize. I got so fed up. I said, I don't want to go anymore because I don't want to be a parrot. You know, I don't understand a word that I'm saying, and I'm repeating, and it's a useless thing. So I regret it. Okay? All right. So, why is it that we are asked to memorize the Quran? Because when you memorize something, number one, you cannot forget. Number two, you cannot change it. Because if you memorize, you love poetry, right? Like auntie loves poetry. Roses are red, violet are blue. Sugar is sweet, and so are you, right? Can you change that? You can't change. They say, roses are my favorite color, purple, you know, or the whole thing will collapse if you change just one word. So that's why in the Quran, we have to memorize it and follow word by word, because every word makes a difference, right? And you change one word, it affects everything else. So now then I know the beauty, but a bit too late lah, of learning to memorize the Quran, because it's to preserve it so that people cannot change it, so that if there was a war where they just, burn the Quran, they destroy the Quran, they destroy the computer, now we got computer lah, and they destroy everything, as long as there's any human being that memorizes it, you can reproduce it. Okay? So now that the message has been protected, therefore, they don't need to send any more. There are new messengers, because one of the functions of messengers is to bring people back to the right path when they have gone astray, which is what happened usually. When a person dies, the people start thinking, oh, that's what he said, this is what he said, this is what he said, because there's no written record. But if something was written and it's not abide to, not changed, the message will be met. In fact, I attended a communication class once, and they said, we played this whispering game. Have you all played the whispering game? Yeah, we whisper the first word, and then at the time of the last, the story changes, right? So this teacher also did the same thing. He took 3 persons out of the room, and he wrote a story on the board, and says, one day, was something like, my mother and I went to the market. On the way to the market, we were attacked by a big dog. We ran for our dear lives with an empty basket. And that's it. We went back. So, they turned around the board, what has been written, and they told the first, they asked the person who was outside to come in. And one of the class person to tell the story. To tell the exact story. So he told the story and this guy listened, right? Then they called the next person. This guy is supposed to tell the second person and the third person. By the time the third person came in, and then he has to tell the story to the class, he said, oh, one day I and my grandmother went to the market. On the way, there we met a big dog. My grandmother kicked the dog and put the dog in the basket. And we came back with the dog in the basket. So interesting, the story. He makes it so juicy, from a simple, So you see, people tend to, even they don't have intention, but we tend to exaggerate things, right? So this can happen. And also sometimes people intentionally do the change because they want power. They want to be kept. There's so many reasons. So because of that, that's why the Prophet said, whatever you do, agreement must have written. Verbal is not enough. Because verbal you can change, right? You remember, your memory is not so good. When it's written, you can have it in black and white, right? So that's why. So that's the reason why after Prophet Muhammad, we don't have to send any more messengers because the message can be kept in its pristine, right? And as the last one says, again, to guide mankind back to the straight path. So if mankind is already have got the book that can guide him, then there's no need to send for some more prophets. Okay, so the prophets all brought the same basic message about one God, Allah, the same message about Islam. It may not be called Islam at the time of Adam, but it is the same message. Okay, so later prophets received new codes for new times. Okay, for example, as we know, during the time of Moses alayhi salam, he was only given the 10 commandments. So if you live by the 10 commandments, you'll be okay. But today life gets more and more complex. So we have the whole Quran, 30 juz, right, to live and abide, because life becomes more complicated. So we need more addition, more rulings. So at the time of Prophet Muhammad, the message is perfect. That's why we have I didn't quote the verse, but there was a verse that says, today I've perfected your religion for you. Right? So at the time of Muhammad, so it's perfect. You don't have to send any more new messengers. And the message was received through the angel Gabriel. It was not human. You see, this is an important point also. It shows also the misconception that people may think that Prophet Muhammad wrote all this. Right? But there are so many proofs in the Quran to show that it was not written by Prophet Muhammad. Why? In the first place, the Prophet was illiterate. He could not read or write. Right? Allah purposely made him so. Why? Because if he could read or write, then people will say, oh, you must have learned from the Jewish scripture. You must have learned from the Christian scriptures. And you took the best of everything and you put them together. Right? So because of that, Allah protected him from that by making him illiterate for a reason. So everything that happens in this world, sometimes it is for a good reason. We don't see it. Sometimes we say, so sad that we have a prophet that could not read or write. We want to have a prophet that's a university degree holder or something like that. Right? But there is a good reason to protect him, okay, from all this. And that our message came from Allah himself through the angel Gabriel. Okay, any questions? No. Are you all sleepy? Yes. Okay, after we do a little bit of exercise, okay, we continue on a bit more. I know it's very difficult from a long day and good meal and a hot thing. Okay. So what is the definition of Islam? It comes from the Arabic root word called salam, which means peace or submission. Okay. Actually, brother, if you want the notes of this, I'll be more than happy to give you, because even when I taught at the international school, the Christians, the teachers, non-Muslim, were asking for the notes because they want to share it with their students, you know, because they say it's so simple, so easy to understand, and so, you know, different. I said, my reading of 20 years, I've not got information like this. So I can give you, I will email to you. If you have your email address, I will forward it to you. Okay? All right. The word Islam comes from the word peace and submission. Okay, people like to say, what do you mean by peace? What do you mean by submission? Today, look at the world. When people talk about Islam, they think about terrorists, they think about, you know, bloodshed and everything. Nothing about peace. So actually, for me, I said, you know, I thought about it. How can I explain peace to people? So I tell them, okay, there's two peace. For example, internal peace, external peace. Okay, let me start with internal peace. Islam teaches us everything, even what to eat, what not to eat, when to drink, when not to drink, everything, even to eat with your hands or everything that it teaches us is for our own good. Now they have scientifically found out so many things. Why you pray, why you must sujood, every movement is fantastic for our body, right? Scientifically it's proven. So, if you follow Islam, because you see, Islam is like a manual. This is a machine. Okay, when Allah created this machine, I love to tell the story. When Allah created this fantastic machine, a human body, which is so complicated, do you think He would just say, okay, you go down on earth, live life a few years, and then come back to me? You know, by trial and error? No, He said, I love my invention. I want to make sure that this invention will really live up to its value. Right? If you build something, you build either a phone or handphone or whatever it is, you will want to do a manual and teach people how to use this handphone, how to take care of it, so that if it was meant to last for 30 years, it will last for 30 years. If it has got 100 functions, you will find out the 100 functions. Because you read the manual. You're not doing by trial and error. But today, all of us, we like to live life by trial and error. We don't want to check the Quran. What does it say? Right? We say, never mind lah, I think everybody does this, so it must be okay. You know, it's not true. Okay, Allah knows what's best because He created the system, so He knows what food is good, what food is no good. You know, I remember one time they say, don't take butter, take margarine, because butter is animal fat, right? Now they say, don't take margarine, it's even worse. You will clog up your thing. Now you take ghee, is better. Okay, last time you must take milk. Don't take coconut milk, don't high cholesterol. But later on, coconut milk now is better. Don't take milk. Right? So we go crazy, you know. But because why? They didn't make the system. So how do they know what is good and what is not good? Whereas Allah created the system, He knows what is good and what is not. So if you follow His ways, you follow the Sunnah, of course it cannot all be in the Quran. Otherwise the Quran is going to be bigger than this room, also cannot cover. So if you follow His Sunnah and His ways, inshallah, you should not have any illnesses. In fact, I read in one of the Shifa book, the Prophet never was ill. The only time he was ill was because he was being poisoned, right? And that was the effect. So if you follow the Sunnah of the Prophet, inshallah, you should be healthy. You shouldn't be having all these problems. Then some wise guy, of course, will come to me and say, Latifah, I follow all the Sunnah of the Prophet. I drink, I sit down, you know, I eat before you sleep, you cannot eat. They say, you must not take your all the system lah, ikut lah, what the Sunnah was. But still I got cancer. Kenapa ni? You know? What's wrong? What went wrong? Actually, not what only you eat. You see, Allah also says when something is wrong, you must try to stop it. Today in our life system, there's so many things that's wrong. And we allow it. We are eating a lot of poisons. We are poisoning our body. We are using the handphone, which is bad radiation. We are using the microwave, which is bad also. You know, all these things are causing the cancer. Right? So, we cannot blame Allah to say, oh, you didn't give us a perfect system. We make it imperfect. We take GMO food because it's cheaper. And, you know, all the things that we do are the wrong things that Allah didn't want. That's why I said, if you see something that's not right, you stop it. Because if you don't, it will kill you. Just like the people in the boat. You know, we all live in a boat. The top people, the bottom deck, the bottom people on the deck. Hey, we got no water. Ask the top people for water. I said, no, don't need to give them. Don't forget about them. So what they did, they dig a hole in the boat. So when they dig the hole in the boat sink. And when the boat sinks, everybody dies. So the same thing, if you see an error, we have to stop it. If we don't, we will suffer the consequences. So now we are suffering all the consequences. Right? Okay, so anyway, coming back. So if you followed by right, if you followed all Allah's regulation, you will have internal peace. That means this machine won't rosak lah. It will last, to the number of years, right? At the same time, what about the external? External peace, I was very amazed when I read one hadith. It says that, in Islam, if you cook something that smells, you must give to your neighbors. You must put extra, kan? Put extra water so that you can give to your neighbors, kan? How many of us do that today? Today we makan durian sembunyi-sembunyi. takut orang bau, kan? Kalau you tak rasa. If you are such a good neighbor, even if your neighbor was a thief, a gangster, do you think he will rob you and do bad things to you? No, right? Because every day you give him food, you are nice to him. Like my sister, she cooks, she's a great cook. Every time she cooks, she will give neighbor here, neighbor there. When she wants to move, everybody cried. Say, don't move lah, we want you here because we get nice food. Now we don't get curry, we don't get this, we don't get that, So when she moved out, everybody cried. So you see, here again, and all her neighbors were Chinese, So I said, mashallah, I said, you see, if you follow Allah's rules, although it seems like so ridiculous, but you follow His rules, then if you love people, people love you. Then there'll be peace. Today, we only love ourselves. It's the I mentality. If it fits me, fine. Don't care about other people. So that's the problem. That's the biggest problem that we have, right? So that is the peace, that's the harmony. Submission only to the will of God. Now, people say that the word submission, in the Western concept, submission is a bad word. You're a slave. How can you be a slave to someone? But again, we should be proud when we are Allah's slave. Because it's different. How do you see the Prophet Muhammad treated his slave, Zaid? You all know the story, right? Zaid was a slave given to him by his wife Khadijah, right? And Zaid's father was looking for Zaid all this while. He's a poet, writer, but he write poetry that he must meet his son before he dies and so forth. And when he found out that the Prophet Muhammad was taking care of Zaid, he went to the Prophet and says, I will buy him whatever price. I want back my son. What did the Prophet say? Kalau kita orang want to use our maid, they say, okay, you can. Just take anytime. You can use and abuse. But the Prophet says, no. Let me ask. I can give you back Zaid. You don't ever have to pay a single cent. But let me ask Zaid whether he wants to go back or not. And even the slave who works for him didn't want to go back. He says, I love my father. I love my uncle. But I want to stay with the Prophet. Why? Because his character is so good. He never even scold, never say to his, to Zaid. Right? So that's how Islam treated slave. So in today's context, different. You're not a slave, you're a worker, so they treat you like a slave. Worse than a slave. Right? So that's why, we must submit only to the will of Allah because Allah loves us. We are His slaves, but He takes care of us better than anything else. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Most gracious, most precious. Okay, one way of life for men or women. Must talk a little bit more about men and women because men and women issue is always there. Somebody say, why do we have this as women's lib lah? Women's lib is always the issue at one time lah. Fashionable now, not so, but still lah. We still want equal rights and all that. So I will say in Islam, we don't need to have such thing as women's right because the rights are being protected already, right? Before that, women were worse than anything else. They were like chattels, right? That's why in European law, if you get married, you must change to your husband's name. You got no more rights of yourself, right? Not in Islam. In Islam, you can keep your name. Actually, Islam has raised the standard of women. So I always tell people, men and women are like apples and orange. They are fruits. You cannot say one is better than the other. It depends on what are their functions. If you are hungry, the apple is better. If you are thirsty, the orange is better, right? So similarly, we cannot say, this is better. Men, they have rights over women when they have more responsibilities. So they have, whoever who's got more responsibility, they've got more say. Those who have lesser responsibility got lesser say. And actually the status of woman is so high that even Prophet said, heaven is at the feet of your mother, not at the father. 3 times. Yeah. So this is just a little bit about the about men and women, all this. During my time, there's a lot of such issues, right? Especially they will ask, why are women like this? Why are women like that? I would love, in fact, the question of men and women, we can have a special session just to cover that. So what is a Muslim? A Muslim is one who follows Islam, right? But there are a lot today, unfortunately, we don't have much. We call ourselves Muslim only by virtue of our names. Some of them don't even know about Islam. It's very sad, right? There were many times when I remember when I was working, and there's one day a fortune teller came, an Indian man came and says, "Can I read your fortune?" So I said, "I can't, I'm a Muslim." He said, "But no, here so many people, Datuk Datin, invite me and pay me a lot of money to read their fortune." You see? So I had to sit down and explain to him the difference between a Muslim by name and a Muslim who practices, okay, who knows about Islam. So let us all be a Muslim who understand Islam so that we can reflect to people. Otherwise, it is only something that people read in the books. You don't see it in action, right? Okay, I think now, last part, one who submits and obeys to the will of Allah. Because only a true Muslim will follow what Allah has commanded, right? And if we say we love Allah, but we don't want to follow, that's not right, right? So we have to do that. Is there a creator? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? There's a question. Can anybody answer? Is life only a matter of chance, or is there a plan? Okay, how to explain this? I must explain to you my experience. One of my travel experience. I had a lot of experiences on my travels. One of them was in a sinking ship. I went on a ship that sailed on the Straits of Malacca, and in the middle of the night at 3 a.m., a launch Taiwanese fishing boat hit us 90 degrees. I think he must be sleeping. Right into the stomach of our big cruise liner. And there was a big hole, as big as they said was a double-decker bus can go through. Okay? So within like half an hour, the whole ship sank. All right? But don't be afraid. I tell you, I've been doing cruises all my life. And this is just one of those things. Now, when the ship was sinking, do you think people would say, "Oh, my father, come and help me. Oh, my husband, come and help me. Oh my God, help us." Right? Even the person who does not believe in God will say, "Oh God, help us." All right? So, you see, deep in us, in all of us, there's ingrained inbound that we know that there is God. There's a creation. It's only that we forget about it because we are so choked up with this whole life, that we forget that there is God. And it's so easy to prove that there's God. I think there are about 2 or 3 types of people who don't believe in God. One is the people who are just lazy. Because, they say, if I know about God, I know about Islam, alamak, susah, man. I got to fast, I got to pray, I got to do this, cannot do that, must wear tudung and all that, susah. So better don't know. What you don't know, you don't have to do. Right? So that law does not, right? If you don't know the law, you don't know that, taking drugs, a certain half a 2 kilo, you go to the gallows. It doesn't mean that you get scot-free, right? Ignorance is not. There's another group of people, maybe because they saw something that was not right in their religion. So they think all religions are humble. Just like as I say when I was young, I said, how can God be so unfair and say those who believe in Jesus Christ can be saved? Those who was born before Jesus Christ, where do they go? To hell straight away for no rhyme or reason? That's not fair. So this religion is not right. So when they get disillusioned with one religion, they think all religions are the same and therefore humble. And they never bother to find out. Okay? So another form of laziness. Okay? Because very few people who are sane, who cannot see, or some are out of arrogance. They think I'm a PhD. Everything that exists must be proven. If I cannot see, I cannot touch, it doesn't exist. So I said, that's not true. I cannot see the person probably in the room next door, but it doesn't mean that the person doesn't exist. I cannot see electricity, but if I touch, I'll get killed, right? So it doesn't hold weight, actually, to say that everything that's not scientifically proven, cannot touch, cannot feel, you don't see it, it doesn't exist, okay? So it's easier to prove that there is God than there is no God, right? So most of these people are either through sheer laziness or just that they just, deny. In fact, there was one guy, the founder of Khalifa School. He was an American, a PhD, 3.5 PhD. And he said, there is no God. He said, I'll be the last man on earth to believe in God. But in the end, he studied Einstein law because he's a scientist. Scientists, the way they think is that way, You must have proof. Then he says, my goodness, there is God. I got to find. And eventually he became a Muslim. So you see, actually even through scientific findings, you will find. In fact, there's a lot of books now, right? You can read that. Through science, you can discover Islam, right? Not the other way around. So it's easy. So in Islam, we tell them that we believe in Allah. All of you know, the one and only God is an Arabic proper name. The same God as the Jews and the Christians, right? He is the creator and the sustainer of the universe. And in fact, the root of Islam is about the belief in one God. Okay, the concept of La ilaha illallah, which I'm sure you're familiar. And then Allah has the infinite names, the 99 attributes. I always tell my students, why is it that Allah has these 99 names? What are these 99 names? I say, in Islam, for us, it's not important how Allah looks. In most religion, they want to make believe, Allah looks like this, Allah looks like that, But actually, we cannot, right? Because we have not seen, nobody has seen. So we cannot. So I said, relatedly easily like this in life, if you want to marry a person, is it his looks is very important or his character is more important? Of course his character, right? Because if you're going to live with him for the next 30 to 40 years, you must know his character. You must know what he likes, what he doesn't like. Yeah? Then only you can live, you can understand him. How he looks, temporary only. Right? So in Islam, it's the same thing. We must know the character of Allah. Therefore, knowing the names of Allah is important so that we can relate to Him easily. In fact, I just learned from one of the classes, Ustaz Imran, he says that in your dua, one of the ways to make your dua mustajab is to use the right name of Allah. Right? If you want rezeki, say Ya Razak. Right? You want to solve a problem, Ya Fattah. So, you must know which names to use. It's just like people, you go to the right person who has that quality, then only that person can help you, right? So it is very important for us to know not only the names of Allah, but the meaning, the understanding. At this age, we should learn. I mean, this is really fantastic because it's for our own good. Why His revealed? Because He wants us to relate to Him. He wants us to ask Him. He likes people who make dua to Him. Not like some people say, don't ask me for things, please. This is human, right? But Allah loves when we ask from Him. So we are going through a class, you all should attend the class. Every subuh, Sunday morning, this morning, we have the dua, how to make your dua mustajab. What are the ways, that first, to make your dua mustajab is, you must ask for forgiveness. Even whether you have sin or you have no sin. Tengok, the Prophet has got no sin. Almost sinless person, but at least he asked for, he did strafa 70 times, and we think we are better than him. We must do 700 times, I think, every day. Right? Even if you don't have sin, if you strafa, Allah will give us blessing. He loves people who ask for forgiveness, because even the story of Adam and Eve is His forgiveness that we are here today. Right? So it's very interesting. Yeah. Okay, who is God? I think everybody here is familiar. You can share with them the Surah Al-Ikhlas, that say that He is God, one and only, the eternal, the absolute. He's not a father to anyone, nor that He's His father, and there's none comparable to Him. Actually, the first part is very easy to understand. Is the characters, characters of Allah. He's one and only, eternal, the beginning and the ending. He has no beginning, no ending, absolute, perfect. But this part, He's not a father to anyone. Why? This was because Islam came after Christianity. And in Christianity, they believe that Jesus was the Son of God. So this is to nullify. Remember the earlier slide I showed you that a prophet was sent to bring people back to the right path. So the Christians were good when Jesus was alive, but when Jesus was taken, they went astray. They said that he's the Son of God and so on. So Prophet Muhammad was sent down to bring them back to that right path, that there is no, he's not a father to anyone, nor does he has a father. Okay? So that's Surah Al-Ikhlas. The Prophet Muhammad now. We talk a little bit about him. He was the last prophet, not the founder of Islam. In fact, a great leader in all aspects. Family, social, political. Can you imagine a person who's illiterate, had no richness. When he was born, he's an orphan. He's so deprived, in terms of status. Although he's of great character, but yet, despite of whatever little he was born with, he became a great leader in all aspects. How come? Can someone make a guess? No? You don't understand what I'm saying. Very simple. He followed the Quran, and that Quran made him the perfect human being. Similarly, today, we go for courses, pay a few $1,000s to become the best manager, the best father, a great this, a great businessman, but we never refer to the Quran. The Quran actually can teach us to be the best of human beings. See? Because that is the manual, the guidance. Right? But we do not take that, unfortunately. Right? As I say, when Allah invented the most complex of machine, human being, He did not just create man and says, okay, you go down and live life the way you think is right and come back to me. No, He gave a manual. Similarly, like any invention, if you have a manual, you read the manual, only then you can use that machine to its perfection. If it was meant to last for 30 years, it will last for 30 years. Right? But if you don't read the manual, but most of us are lazy, including myself, never read manuals. But we must read the manual to life if we want to become successful. Okay? And that's the Quran. Very simple. But not just read and memorize it. Because, that part is not so critical now. The most critical part is to read and understand it. So I encourage all of you to attend the Tadabbur class. That's why just before this class, we attend the Al-Fatihah. But Ustad, it was so fantastic. Bismillah itself, the B has got 3 meanings. Right? Who was in the class? Auntie, you remember? What does B means? When you say B, you remember that you're doing this for Allah. Yes. Come in. Oh, please come in. We are halfway through. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Go ahead. So, the B itself has got 3 meanings. One is in the name of Allah. The second B, the second meaning he said was, I'm doing for Allah. Okay? Kerana Allah. The B. Okay? And the third B means with the help of Allah. So every time we say Bismillah, 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 we don't know the meaning. So it doesn't feel. No, nowadays when I read Bismillah Rahman Rahim, I remember, dengan nama Allah, kerana Allah, and with the help of Allah, Masya Allah, I feel so, it's so meaningful. And that's just B only. Bismillah, right? So we have to learn all this. And at this age, I tell you, you appreciate every word you learn is like a precious gem. We are at Alhamdulillah only. A whole 3 days lesson. Alhamdulillah, fantastic, right? So that's why when it's true, when you know the meaning of the words, when you pray, then you get the khusyukness. Last time when I prayed, I don't know, alamak, which rakaat is this? I was thinking about, my talk tomorrow. What about this? I haven't done this. I haven't done that. 10,000 things. But when you start thinking about Alhamdulillah, praise, then I'll ask, praise and thanks to Allah for giving me this wonderful life, and please maintain it, give me the goodness in this world and the hereafter. And a lot, today also we learn in another lesson, a lot of us we ask, Allah give us some wealth, Allah give us this, give us that, but we never ask the things We never says Allah give us wealth so that with this wealth let me do things that can bring me to Jannah. You know, the word they say, you know, it's not necessary that when you're rich, money cannot buy paradise. Actually, money can buy paradise if you know how to use your money. Right? If you use your money in amal, jariah and all that, that will buy you paradise. So you cannot say that money cannot buy you paradise. Money can buy you paradise, but you must use wisely lah. If you use your money to buy fancy houses, fancy cars, that will not bring you to paradise. You only get paradise here lah. You won't get the hereafter. Right? So it is important to learn about the meaning of the Quran, not just the recitation. Okay? And then you'll appreciate and you will feel whenever you do anything, you know. When you understand the meaning. That's why when you see some of the Arabs and they read the Quran, they cry, you know, the emotions. Why? Because they understand the meaning. Like we don't, so it doesn't make, doesn't this thing. Okay. Oh, sorry. Prophet Muhammad was the greatest leader. In fact, in a book called by Michael Hart, who's a non-Muslim, an American, he got this book called The Great. I can't remember the name of the book. MashaAllah. It's at the tip of my tongue. The
100 greatest leader.
Yes, of the world. And he, being not a Muslim, yet he put Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu as the top. Because you must read the book. Okay? They have borders and all that in a big, great bookstore. So, as I said, why has he become the greatest leader? Because with the least that he had, he was born an orphan, he's illiterate, and yet, until today, people are following him. Billions of people. Okay? Whatever you say. Whereas all the other teachers in the world, no matter how great they are, they have not influenced that much to the world. He has the greatest influence even up to today. Right? So it's fantastic. And how does he get that? From the Quran. So you see, we have a wonderful thing, but we don't value it, unfortunately. Okay, Assalamualaikum, which means peace be unto you. Why did my Ustad bring this? I was wondering, you know. Simple thing to teach people about Assalamualaikum. Well, actually, for me, I never asked him actually, why was this thing? But for me, I think why is because to show that today in Islam, even especially our children, when they pick up the phone, they don't say Assalamualaikum. They say hello, hi, right? So I asked them, do you all know the meaning of hello and hi? How come you're using it? Oh, because it's fashionable. It's not fashionable to say Assalamualaikum. Very old-fashioned. Right? Maybe they say. So I said, okay, but do you know the meaning of hi? Or the meaning of hello? Actually, I also do not know. So one day I was asking my class, there was an American guy, he says, yes, I know the meaning of hello. The root word of hello came from the word, hell is low. I said, wow, great reminder, but a very negative reminder. So whenever you meet a friend, hell is low. Remember, you know? And those people who say hi, what is hi? Because they want to be on drugs, to feel high, you know? So you see, sometimes words we say without realizing. So they say, actually, at the end of time, even Muslims will be following the others, right? As though we don't even know the reason, we just follow only. Because it's fashionable, when actually it is not right. We have such a good way of greeting people. Peace be unto you. And we don't want to use it. You know? And so it shows that even the simplest of things as greetings, our children are not following. So what more you ask them to pray, to do this, to do that. They will have a lot of, issues with you. Right? Because you have never taught them the beauty, understanding of what each word means. Even the simplest Assalamualaikum. We just take it for granted. So teach them. Right? Not to follow others. Just because everybody is doing it, it doesn't make it right. Okay, so in Islam, important for us to know about Tawheed. So we explain to our new Muslims about Tawheed, the concept of La ilaha illallah. That there is no God except Allah. And this attestation to the belief of one God is a universal truth that's been taught by all the prophets. Even if you say that, in Hinduism there are so many gods, how come? Actually, if you really go, you listen to Zakir Naik talks, if you go to the real Hindu scriptures, the original scriptures, even that they say that there is one God. You know, in every religion, if they go deep under, it's only that people make believe until they got lost. Even in Islam also. Remember when Abraham built the Kaaba, was for the belief of one God. But at the time of Prophet Muhammad, they have already put 360 gods, idols, right? How did that happen? To man, I heard the story, Wallahu A'lam, whether it's right or not. He says, at first, Makkah was very small. So everybody could go to the Kaaba and do their circumambulation and tawaf, right? Then as the city goes bigger, people live further away. Then they said, jauh nak pergi. So they have to go every day. So they said, let's take a stone from there and bring back home. So we don't have to go to the Kaaba. We take the Kaaba, a part of the Kaaba, and bring it home. And we do our prayers at home. Then after that, they look at the stone. It didn't look so good, to pray at a stone. So let's carve to the favorite, my uncle, my grandfather, my favorite hero, and make an idol out of it. So actually, all the idols that we're praying were all heroes. Manat and Lat and all that were heroes, were people that were very good at that time, very generous. So when they died, they make idols and they start praying to the idols. So you see how shaitan, bit by bit, pulls us away. Then after so many years, they have the idols at home. They say, oh, now this stone is not powerful. We must put it back in the Kaaba to get the strength. Because they know the Kaaba was a really magical place, right? So they know the power of Kaaba. So that's how it ended up with 360 idols. People put back from the religion of Abraham that was pure until 360 idols. So the Prophet had to come and destroy that. So you see, bit by bit. So here we have a lesson to learn. Shaitan is very smart these days. That's why we have to attend a class called Tablis Iblis, the strategies of Shaitan. We must know how he tricked us, bit by bit. He won't say, you go and kill that man. Nobody's going to kill anybody. Because even you are the worst man on earth, you know that killing is wrong. But he will whisper in your ears, when you're away, do you know that your wife went out with that man? Do you know that we took picture, WhatsApp, Facebook, she was having dinner, lunch, this, that. Then he builds up until he becomes so jealous, he go and kill the man. You see, the objective is a reach, but shaitan makes you do step by step, bit by bit, without you realizing that you're doing something very, very wrong. So that's why in Islam, anything that is wrong, don't even approach it. Because if a little bit can make you go, just like, if you drink, they say, alcohol. Never mind, if you drink a little bit, it's okay. For social, right? We are not going to drink to get drunk. But you ask all the, in America, in the West, the AA, Anonymous Alcoholic, did they all drink to get drunk? Nobody drink to get drunk. They all drink first as a social. Then after that, to take away worries. After that, goes further. Then they can't go without it. And they become alcoholics. Right? So that's how shaitan has got very strong strategies. So we must learn the strategy in order for us to counter-attack. Otherwise, we get trapped into it. Right? Right. Sorry. Tawhid 2. Relevance and importance. Why do we need to believe in God? Why do we need to worship God the right way? Sorry? Why do you think? As I said, this is in the story of my sinking ship. Don't wait till you are in trouble. When you need God, then you start looking, where's God? You must know his address, his email address, his Facebook, his WhatsApp number, right? So that when you have that connection, anytime you ask him, inshallah, he will give you. And I tell you, to my own experience also, sometimes there's so many miracles that happen, which I cannot believe, Like, just to relate a very small incident. One day I was going out of the surah, and the man in front of me was talking, oh, come to my kebun, I got lots of durians. Alamak, I was behind and said, I love durians. But I don't know these people in front to say, can you invite me? So I was thinking, I was walking back to my house and I was thinking about durian, where to get the best durian or where to get, some durian. And as I got back home, I had a message on my WhatsApp. Latifah, where were you? We were at your house. Trying to get to your house. Nobody was at home. I got Sarawak durian. I said, oh my God, keep it in the fridge, please. Tomorrow, please send down to me, I was just thinking about it. And you see, Allah read your heart, knows whatever you say in your heart, without, you see, tomorrow she sent me the durian, I sebat. and finish out the whole day. I said, MashaAllah, how did Allah knows this? It was just in my heart of hearts. So many little things that happened that I said, MashaAllah, really, if you are really close to Allah, the slightest of things that's in your heart, Allah will grant it for you. MashaAllah. And of course, there are many miracles that happen. In fact, I'm writing a book, inshallah, of all the miracles that happen in life and how, I grew up to a very, very strange, as I said, I was a Chinese child adopted by a Muslim family who were not very strict. So I did not practice Islam when I was very, very young, frankly speaking. But somehow or other, I had this calling of, whenever I walk to school, I would read the Qul Huwallah by the thousands. Because I feel so good reading it. And sometimes like Thursday night, I would sit down in a corner and zikir, But I don't know why was it that I feel that way. Because my parents don't encourage me. And I feel shy to let people know. But it was deep in me. But, as you grow up and then you go into this world, the real world, they don't expect you don't practice Islam really, like I say, praying 5 times, putting on the tudu and all that. But one time, when I went on a trip, and something happened to me, something really bad, I lost everything. And that was a time where I don't know how to communicate with God. It's like the person in a sinking ship. When you're in trouble, the worst of trouble, that's where you start thinking about God, right? So I had nothing, but I read by the thousands the Qul Huwallahu Ahad. And I tell you, miracles happen. It takes time. So I'm writing a book. I'm writing some stories of all this miraculous experience. And miracles, miracles happen to us today, even. I'm sure when you go to Mecca and all that, miracles have happened to you all. In here also, if you keep yourself close to Allah, you will find so many miracles that happen. Don't think that miracles only happen to prophets. To even common people like us. He will answer our prayers. Okay, so how does one get there? Seek the truth, understanding through knowledge. So that's why we have to seek knowledge even till our deathbed. So in fact, I'm having this desire with Sister Noshin. I've already shared with her that I said all of us, when we reach this certain age, we're already now 60s, we should live close to the surau or close to centers of learning. I live in Port Dickson, but I rent a room here, not even a room, just a classroom like this, because I want to be near to the classes. Okay, because I think this is the most important thing for us, to get closer to Allah at this age. As we grow older, this is very important for us. Don't let the dunya distract us. It's so easy to get the dunya to distract us. Because as I say, we cannot bring the dunya in the akhirat. We can only live here how long? Maximum 100 years. 120 years. The oldest person, 140 years. Right? But in akhirat, we're going to be there forever. So whatever we work here, we should not be aiming for this. We should be aiming for the next one. But of course, Allah says, you can also aim for this. So when you make the dua, make sure you make for both. For this dunya and akhirat. Don't forget that. So always we forget. We just ask for this present time only. Never ask for the akhirat. So we must bring ourselves. So seek through understanding and through knowledge. Okay? Believe in the absoluteness of God. Have faith in His truth and be mindful of Allah. And worship Allah with humility. Okay? Practice righteous conduct. So basically, this is what the Quran teaches us to be. Finally, a person, the caliph of this universe. Okay? To have righteous conduct. So don't think of Allah only when we are in trouble. Okay? Okay, this is the final, this is the easiest, I would say, Islam on one page. I said, when you want to become a Muslim, very simple. All you have to do is say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. And of course, you will say, La ilaha illallah, because this is the root of our religion, that there is no God except Allah. And Muhammad, the Rasulullah, why? Because a lot of other earlier religions, they made their prophet a God. So, Allah wants to make sure that in Islam, we will not make prophet like our God. Allah is Allah, prophet is just a human being to lead us. We love him, we honor him, but he is just a messenger of God. Okay? So, in order for us to practice Islam, Islam is not just faith, belief, but it's also action, and this will be the result. Okay? So to have faith, you know, the 6 articles of faith, which is believe in Allah, we've already gone through that, believe in His angels. Okay, I like this part. You know, when we are young, we always see movies, and we say when we die, we want to become angels, have wings, you know, so that we can go to paradise, right? This is our so-called stories that we've been reading. But actually, in Islam, it's different. The angels, right, were asked to bow to Adam. So that means, when we were created, we have the capacity, if we are good, we can become better than the angels. That the angels got to bow to us. But if we are bad, we can become worse than an animal. Okay? So that's why sometimes when people do terrible things, they say you're like an animal. Why? Because there's a hierarchy of intention. So this is how in Islam, is that the concept of angels is very different from angels. You know, we have actually one right over the angels, and that is we have the choice. Angels are like robots. They are programmed only to do good. They don't know what's bad. They only perform duties, right? But humans, we have a choice. And because we have a choice, we are better than them. Because when you have a choice and you make your right choice, you become better than the angels. Huh? Right. The books, of course, the early books, like Zabur, the Injil and all that. But as I said, the original books, the original teachings of the Prophet, we Muslims believe. But we don't believe in today's Bible. Because today's Bible, as I say, is a Pauline Bible done by Paul 200 years after Jesus Christ. So how can it be accurate? Right? So we don't believe in the book. So the Quran is the only one that has been preserved even up to today, word by word. And you must read the miracles of the Quran. It's fantastic. Right? So these are the guidance that Allah has given us. And not only He sent us guidance, but He even sends us messengers, teachers to teach the book. Right? Believe in the hereafter and judgment day. Actually, in most, everywhere, human beings, even the Pharaoh, who doesn't believe in God, he also believes in hereafter. Why? If you go to Egypt, right, until you see the pyramids, right? Why do they use the pyramids? To keep barang-barang there, to bring to the hereafter. They will bring, you know, all their thrones, their even, you know, their cooking oil, their olive oil also they bring to paradise. Because they think that all these things can be brought. So that means they believe that there's hereafter. We don't have to go far. We just see the Chinese here, right? When they die, they send during the ghost months, right? They send motorcar, send burn, credit cards also now. American Express have gone there already, right? So, you see, so they believe that there is, only that the concept is wrong, right? But everybody knows that there is God. Everybody knows that there is a hereafter. But it's very strange. We know, but we don't act on it. This is the sad part. So when we know, it's not enough. You must act on it. So it says, you know there's a hereafter, so what are you doing for it? Well, how much of your life now that you're spending to prepare for the hereafter? Okay. Believe in the foreknowledge of God that good and bad comes from Allah. In fact, sometimes when Allah gives you some bad things, we were just learning. We had a Shifa session just before you all came here. In Shifa session, sometimes when Allah gives you illness, you'll say, why me? Why me? I'm a good person. I shouldn't be sick. But you should sabar and accept. And say that, in fact, the illnesses is to purify us. Okay? Not only to purify us, but also to raise our darjat. You know? So He tests us. Like Nabi Ayub. How He tests him. Take away his wealth, take away his children, take away everything. But still He never complains. He says, Allah, why me? You know? Why I'm a prophet. Why do this to me? Never. He says, never, I accept it. So when he says, if you have sickness, you don't say, oh Allah, please cure me. No, he says, oh Allah, thank you for this. Whatever it is, give me the goodness of it. Okay, it's hard to do that, but we have to believe in the foreknowledge of God. Whatever that Allah gives us, we must reda, accept and move on. Okay, so once you have all your belief, then there must be action. You cannot say, as I say, I say, I love you, but I don't want to marry you because too much of responsibility. Right? So you say, I love you, I believe in you, I must do all the actions. And what are the actions? Most of the important, the prayers. Okay? Declaration. Okay, first the declaration of faith. Somebody was asking me, why must I declare the faith? Why must I say the shahada? I say, even you get married also, you must have witnesses. You cannot just say, oh, I love you, let's go married, that's it. You must have somebody who say, oh yeah, sign, agree, right? So similarly, in shahada, is to declare what you feel. You love that person, you want to marry that person, you have to make declaration. So similarly in religion also. So you must have the shahada. After the shahada is the performance of prayers. This is the part. A lot of people have difficulty in it, right? Even especially our youngsters. Actually, anything that Allah asks to do, everything, whether it's salah, fasting or what, as you know, Allah doesn't need it. Does Allah need our prayer? No. It's we who need the prayer. Because Allah says, when my servant prostrate to me, when I'm at sujud, he is closer to me than the jugular vein. And our jugular vein is in us. Which means that you are communicating with Allah direct. IDD, toll-free line. You don't want? Then you rugi lah. So if you have that toll-free line and you communicate with Allah every time, the slightest things in your heart you want, Allah will hear you. Just like if you have a friend who never contact you, out of the blue 20 years, sometimes says, my dear sister, can you lend me $30,000? I say, go and fly a kite. Right? But if your friend every day come and say, how are you? Can I help you? Can I do this? Can I do that? If you say you want 300,000, okay lah, no problem. Right? So the same thing with Allah, we must have that when we do our prayers, is actually our communication with Him. If we don't want to communicate with Him, that's your thing. And the best communication is when? The last third of the night, during tahajjud. Where, when you do emails and all that, right? At night, the line is very powerful. Why? Nobody's using it, right? Everybody's asleep. So you want to get all your free tickets and all that. That's where you do book online, right? At night, late at night. Because you get very clear line, direct. So similarly, our tahajjud prayers, it will give you direct connection. Very good. Okay. Now, and also now there's lots of studies, books from universities and about every posture of a prayer is good for our body. Nothing that Allah asks us to do is for Him. He doesn't need, He doesn't need us. He is free of needs, but we need it for ourselves. So if we know that we need it, then we will make that effort. I used to say that to pray 5 times a day during my busy, hectic life, I used to say it's impossible. The word was impossible. But then when the miracle happened to me, I said, oh my God, I must do it. And Alhamdulillah, if I don't do my prayers on time, I feel so guilty, because I feel that I'm missing something. Allah gives us this extra benefit, we don't make use of it. It's our loss, not Allah's loss. Okay. Performance of zakah, of course you all know. You must love your neighbor, you help your neighbor. If you don't, you see, like in countries where the rich are very rich and the poor is very poor, what do the poor do? They kill the rich, they rob, they kidnap. Because you know why? Life is not so worth it, right? So, you must make everybody, have the chance to have some money to survive. If they don't, they will become robbers and they will harm you, right? So, zakat is one of those things. Ramadan, fasting, of course you know. Today, people fast. Last time I said, why must we fast? Now they found that actually fasting can cure a lot. Because they found that, I think it was in Germany, that they find that people who fast for minimum 28 days, their immune cells are at the highest. Immunity is at highest. Why? They explain in a very simplistic way. Every day you eat, your stomach got to work so hard. Got to digest, got to send this food here, so you're busy working. You got no time to do repair work or no time to do cleaning work. When you stop eating, actually now two things happen. The body gets into a shock. Hey, how come no food today? No work today. Something is wrong. So the armies will come out and say, maybe there's somebody attacking this body. Okay? So that means immunity will go up. Right? And check everywhere. Where's the enemy hiding? And kill the enemy. So the immunity goes up. The other thing is that when the body is free, no need to do so much work, process, tired, eat 24 hours. Now, they got time to do spring cleaning. Got time to throw away all the dirty things. That's why when we fast, the first 3 days, we got bad breath, we got all sorts of things. You know why? The body is detoxifying. Like if the time of the Prophet, you must fast, you will detoxify your body. Nobody will understand him. What's detox? Probably he also doesn't know what's detoxification. But today we spend thousands of dollars to detox the body. When actually, Allah gives us free to detox our body. And there's so many things about fasting. Hajj. Why do you go to Hajj? Hajj is like a convention, I feel. People from all over the world, as long as they're Muslims, they will meet. Right? It's like an international conference. Right? You'll meet people from everywhere of the world. And there also you have to learn to live. But of course today, unfortunately, I think the true nature of Hajj is literally lost. Because of all the fancy buildings, hotels, 5-star, my friends say, you want to go to Hajj? You must stay in this hotel, 5-star hotel, luxury. I say, you go there are you going to be sitting in the hotel room? So why you want to pay $9,000 just to stay in a hotel room? You should be in the mosque, right? You'd rather stay in a hovel and every day be at the mosque, right? So sometimes we get misguided into why are we doing these things. Now it becomes like a tour, holiday. So luxury holiday. But it's not true. Actually, it's to go back, the Arafah, you got to go through concept of sacrifice of Abraham to remind us, right? And also to bring the Muslim community together, side by side. Whether you're rich, whether you're poor, you can be there. Now it's probably only for the rich, the poor cannot afford. Right? So, okay, but important thing about Hajj, why do we circumambulate? Very interesting. Why do you circumambulate? Actually, there was an article that wrote that if you look at everything on this earth, it's in a motion and it is moving. And it's moving anti-clockwise. Even the cells in our body, last time we cannot see the microscope and all that. Now you can see that the atom, there's always a nucleus and neutrons and protons are going round and round in an anti-clockwise. So when we do that, we go round and round anti-clockwise, we are actually doing what the whole universe is doing. It's incongruent again, right? The more we study about science, more we will discover the beauty of the circumambulation, right? Everything, the universe also rotates. Everything, even the earth rotates, right? Everything rotates, yeah? So that's about Hajj. So once you have done this, you have the Iman, you have the Amal, then you have the Ihsan. The Ihsan is sincerity in worshipping of Allah. As the Prophet say, Ihsan is when you serve and worship Allah as though you see Him. Allah is so close to you that as though everything that you do in life, like as though somebody is watching me. It's like there's a CCTV. Would you do bad things in front of CCTV? No, right? So this is a CCTV because everything that we do is going to be recorded, right? So if we know there's a CCTV in our lives every minute, we become more careful, right? If not, as though we see Allah, if not, we know that He is seeing us. So our actions will be guided. We always have Allah in mind. We always remember that somebody is watching us. If not, as though we can see Him, right? Okay. So with that, I think we will conclude for today. I'd like to ask if you all have any question. Unfortunately, that boy Arif is not here. What happened to Arif? Holiday. On holiday, because it's a long weekend. I forgot. Yeah, because there was one Chinese Muslim boy who was asking a lot of questions. Maybe we can have a session on separate. So, in Islam, it's simple. How do you want to, if you want to reach to that level, where do you get the knowledge? From the Quran, okay, which was revealed in a period of 23 years. And Al-Quran means recitation. They are the words of God. literally completely preserved, entire in its recitation until today. So as I mentioned to you, why we have to memorize the Quran so that we can keep it in its original form. All right. Why is it sent over a period of 23 years? Because Allah wants it to us to absorb it. You see, He's so merciful. He doesn't say, okay, today I give you this thick book, go and study for exam, tomorrow. No, He gives us, learn a little bit. How merciful He is. And yet we don't treasure this, unfortunately. Okay, so over a period of 23 years. And the Sunnah is the ways or example of the Prophet Muhammad, right? The guidance on how it is the practical. The book is a theory. You need a teacher to tell you about the practical. There are some people who say, oh, you don't need to follow the Sunnah. They have the Inka Sunnah group. But this does not make sense. Because you cannot learn just theory. You have to see how the practical is being done. Right? The Quran says you must pray. But it doesn't teach you how to pray. So the Prophet shows us how to pray. And how he learns about the praying, the angel showed him. Right? So that's how we have to learn from these two sources. You need the theory and you also need the practical. Okay, so I think, thank you so much. Next week, in fact, we shall do what is being successful in this life, right? What is the mission and vision of our life? Okay, we work in companies, we write mission statements, vision statement, tapi in our life, we don't have what is our mission statement, what is our vision statement? So if we don't have this mission and vision statement, we are just like a ship that is don't know where, no direction. Okay? So if like today, you all know you're coming here, you put GPS, right? Tells you the direction, turn left, turn right, turn right. But if you got no GPS, you just go round and round and round and round, you never arrive at your destination. So we need to know what is true success. Right? InsyaAllah. Okay, wabillahi taufiq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.